They were there, always there, just beyond the reach of human understanding, blinking into existence on the cold green screens of radar operators, and it started with a single blip, a dot that refused to obey the laws of physics, moving too fast, stopping without warning, changing direction as if mocking the very air around it, and when the military tried to track it, the instruments went haywire, instruments designed to see every plane, every missile, every possible threat suddenly betrayed them, and the first encounter wasn't an isolated incident, it was a warning, a whisper in the dark, that someone, or something, was watching, analyzing, calculating, waiting, and the reports were meticulous, precise, yet terrifyingly vague, because no human mind could fully comprehend what the radar had seen, unknown objects hovering silently, then darting at impossible speeds, leaving trails of distorted energy, lights that made seasoned pilots report nausea, dizziness, and an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the machines themselves were warning the crew of a reality they weren't ready to face. And as the encounters multiplied, each more aggressive, more inexplicable, the patterns emerged, but patterns that didn't make sense, formations that defied aerodynamics, appearing in perfect symmetry only to vanish without a trace, leaving behind a void, a vacuum of understanding. And it's easy to dismiss these stories, to call them mistakes, sensor errors, mass hysteria, until the next night, the next radar sweep, when a shape, darker than the night, moved in tandem with military jets, ignoring the jets' maneuvers, the radar picking up speeds far beyond any human technology, acceleration that should have torn apart any craft, yet it remained intact, mocking the laws of nature itself. And in some reports, 2 pilots described seeing something that wasn't on any radar, something tangible, metallic, but alive, shifting, breathing almost, yet the radar confirmed it, 2 realities overlapping, the seen and the unseen, and every encounter left behind anomalies, disrupted communications, instruments that stopped working, clocks that ran backwards, compasses spinning wildly, entire sections of airspace recorded as blank, as if the sky itself had been rewritten by something beyond comprehension, and the more you read, the more you realized the sheer scale, radar logs from different continents aligning in time, reports from the Pacific, from Europe, from the deserts of Nevada, all noting objects appearing and disappearing, moving from one radar network to another, as if connected by an intelligence that was global, omnipresent, yet invisible, and some reports describe maneuvers that defy gravity. Rotation on axes that shouldn't exist, velocities that approach the impossible, yet sensors confirm it, over and over, evidence that cannot be ignored, evidence that terrifies because it refuses explanation, and when investigators try to interview the witnesses, the pilots, the radar technicians, they recount the same chilling feeling, a presence, something in the air that feels aware, something watching them watch it, something that exists beyond the limitations of human perception, and the encounters escalate, objects materializing in restricted airspace, darting between bombers, ignoring warnings, as if the air belongs not to humans but to them, and in some classified documents, the words are there, stark, clinical, almost casual, but beneath them lies a dread that no amount of bureaucracy can suppress, words like unknown aerial phenomena, hostile intent possible, unidentifiable craft exceeding known physics, and yet these words cannot capture the terror, the gnawing unease of knowing that in the dark sky above, there are things that move with intelligence, that calculate, that choose when to be seen and when to vanish, and radar operators report heartbeats skipping, adrenaline surging, as they follow these blips that are not planes, that are not missiles, that are not human, and then silence, a lull in the activity, a pause. That is worse than the movement, because it suggests observation, contemplation, decisions being made about something far beyond human concern, and the objects reappear, in new locations, new formations, sometimes hundreds of miles away in seconds, leaving jets spinning in futile pursuit, leaving instruments screaming with overload, leaving minds shattered, and when declassified, the files show numbers, timestamps, trajectories. But the raw logs tell another story, a story of something alive, sentient, omnipresent, patient, that we cannot touch or reach, that exists on the edge of reality, and the more you read, the more you see the same pattern. They're not just sightings, they're a message, a presence that cannot be denied, and the fear grows, insidious, because it is the fear of understanding that humans are not alone, that the skies are alive with eyes, that the machines we build to see, to protect, to understand, betray us in the face of this, that the radar shows us what cannot be named, and the night sky, once a comfort, a canvas of stars, becomes a theater of unknown intent, and every time you hear a jet scramble, a radar beep, a report filed quietly in the logs, the hair on the back of your neck rises, because you know, deep down, that somewhere above, something watches, something that confirms itself on our instruments, something that moves without sound, without warning, and in that silence, in that space between blips and beeps, the world is not as safe as we think, the sky is not ours to claim, and the encounters continue, 10, 20, hundreds, each one a thread in a tapestry of terror, each one a proof that the universe is alive in ways that humans cannot yet comprehend, and the longer you look at the logs, at the radar, at the recordings, the more you realize that these are not mistakes, not myths, but undeniable truths, truths that whisper that we are observed, that we are catalogued, that the blips on the screens are eyes, lenses into our world, analyzing, recording, learning, and that no amount of explanation, no matter how technical, can strip away the dread of knowing that we are being watched by something that does not obey gravity, that does not obey physics, that may not even obey time itself. And as you read, as the night deepens, as the blips flicker and disappear on the screen of your mind, you understand the cruelest truth. The radar does not lie, the instruments do not lie, and somewhere, above, beyond the sky, beyond comprehension, the watchers wait, silent, patient, inevitable, and the fear is not just of what they are, but what they may become, and in that fear, there is no escape, no comfort, only the relentless, impossible knowledge that we are not alone, that we have never been alone, and that the sky is full of things that see us, track us, confirm our existence in ways we will never fully understand, and the more you speak, the more you read, the more you realize that terror is cumulative, that knowledge is a weight, and that in the radar blips, in the logs, in the encounters, there is a story written in silence and speed and impossible motion, a story that the human mind cannot fully process, a story that chills because it is real, undeniable, and still ongoing, and the world goes on, oblivious, while above, the watchers move, they observe, they confirm, they exist, and somewhere in the dark, your own instruments might pick up a faint blip, a warning, a signal that they are near, and that is when you finally understand the truth. The terror is not in seeing them, the terror is in knowing that they have always been there, watching, and that the sky will never be ours alone again.